Hey everybody, it's Mike over here at Growtopia. And you know what's funny? Originally I talked about to myself that I wasn't going to make a video of this at all, which was building my beehive from a company called Flow that's based in Australia. And I looked at it, I'm like, you know what, there's so many videos of, them doing it and others that I didn't want to take it away from them. And then I'm like, well, I'm not showing you how to build it, but honestly, after opening up the first box that I have here, which is the brood box, um, which is literally for building your first box on your beehive, I was blown away. I was blown away by a lot of things. Like there's a flap I cut out, which is a pretty cool information on it. It says the heart of the hive. The brood box is the heart of the hive, where the queen lays her eggs up to 2,000 per day. I didn't know that. It's the hive's nursery and holds eggs, larvae, pupa, probably that too, and baby bees, along with nurse bees who care for them. Worker bees store pollen and honey around the brood area, making it a well-stocked pantry. Handy tips. Allow your bees to build a strong colony before adding your Flow Super, which is your next level, your super. It's best to add your super once the brood frames are 90% completed. And it's got a little bee in the bottom. And I was like, you know what? That's cool. I mean, this was just a flap on the box, and I cut it off. And I was like, wow, this is cool. Like a company, most companies you buy stuff from, it comes in a box, and it's got nothing on it at all. And you open up the box, you take out the item, you start assembling it, and you're like, Argh. But this place, like, they actually like put some like thought and effort into it. Like this was a flap from the box that I'm going to keep. We go back to the rest of the box, and we have a QR code that we can scan with our phone and, look stuff up. Like scan the QR code for assembly instructions or visit our website, honeyflow.com. Any questions? We're always here to help. Just email our knowledgeable customer service team at info@honeyflow.com. I mean, this is just one box, and then on the back side of the box is more cool stuff. Congratulations, you have found the exclusive queen bee, which is on the back of the box. Here are some handy tips for when you are searching for the queen in your hive. The queen bee is a shiny black back plate. Has a shiny black, I can't read. She is strong and larger than the worker bees and has a slender abdomen extending past her wings. Look for a circle of worker bees, known as the queen's attendants, surrounding her. They attend to her they attend to all of her needs while she concentrates on laying eggs. The queen often moves steadily and purposely, while worker bees tend to be more erratic. Now that would be another piece of the box to cut off to keep for myself. So it's amazing, for a company that actually puts that much more into their boxes, that the product is going in that probably most people are going to throw away. They're not going to actually look at the box like I did. And I'm, wanting to put this together, but so far, I'm just impressed by the box it came in. And, it's cool that at the bottom of, the wood itself, it's hard to see on camera, but at the bottom, it says at the far bottom, it does say brood on it. You're probably not going to see it, but it does say brood on it, of course. And another thing I thought that was really cool was the brood box, screw box, actually comes with like legitimate drill bits. Some companies say like, oh yeah, we're sending you drill bits, with the item. And when you actually finally get the item, they're plastic and they fall apart before you take them out of the box. These are actually pretty good quality. I'm not going to lie. These are probably better than what I have. They are made by BROPPE. It's S2. S2 is for the square head. It's got the notch on it, which makes me think that it's going to work perfectly with my quick disconnect. I'll pull out my Phillips head that I have in here, and I could stick that in there. It locked right in with my magnet, with my chock. And now, on the lowest setting, I can get to screwing. They do supply a tool. I've yet to find it. I know it's in one of these boxes. But I am amazed that the drill bits that they supply are actually like good quality. They're not made of pot metal. At least they don't look like they're made of pot metal. Here's another one. This might actually be a little bit easier so you can see where it says brood on it for brood box. And that's currently what I'm working on right now. I just wanted to show you that from what I saw so far. And, you know, the thing is, like, I looked at another hive that was on Amazon that was a Chinese garbage knockoff. And I bought it. And I tried to assemble it. And my biggest problem that I had was that there was no ways of screwing the wood to the rest of the wood. And I was like, well, this is stupid. You know, and they're like, oh, you don't glue it. You just stick it together and pray. This is not the same. This is not the case at all. Everything has screw holes. Everything lines up where it's supposed to line up. Like such. You should look at the instructions. Let's see. Yeah. So this fits like a glove. The other one, I was smacking and whacking and cursing and screaming. This one, it's nice, right? Of course, building it this way is a little difficult because it's not screwed together. Don't stick your head where it doesn't belong. I'm just showing you guys how the difference from one company to another makes quite a difference. I mean, this is bring back the days, man, when I used to play with Lincoln Logs. It's like Lincoln Logs. Look at that. How quick that was. And it's staying together for now. But it's got to get screwed and all the other good stuff. But you got the face of it that screws down into the sides, and then the sides screw into the face. Those are people that are thinking. Definitely not those fake companies on Amazon that are coming from China. Not saying there's anything wrong with things that come from China. Kind of, sort of. We're going to learn that in 2019. Not going to go down that road, I'm just going to say. There's a doctor who sounds like he's got pistachios in his name. Or flatulence. Dr. Flatulence? Probably. Don't really know. Don't really know. Not really getting political either. Try not to. The wood smells really nice, though. I'm going to say the wood smells nice. So I'm going to stick my my brood box together. I'm going to start screwing. I wanted to start off with the base and the frame, but it's at the bottom of the pile, so I got to like dig it out. Plus, I'm curious where the tool is. I know the tool is like somewhere in here, but I have like boxes and clothes and shirts. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys some of the cool stuff with it. Like, you know, it's not just an item. It's not just a product, but it's also a company that actually does care. And I am not sponsored by this at all. I'm just amazed that they actually put so much effort into actually adding cool stuff into a box. And I'm playing with a microphone that I have. So in case I sound like scratchy or something, it's probably like rubbing my beard. It's because I touch it or my shirt or fat, one or the other. So nevertheless, I do really find that it's interesting that they put so much time and effort into making their boxes really cool, because I know it costs some extra money to make these boxes because they're not just a regular plain Jane, you know, box, but also what's cool on the bottom, it says made in Australia, which is nice versus seeing made in China. So anyway, let's make the brood box. Come here. So in case anybody was wondering what it looks like in a thunderstorm, I really shouldn't be out here at all because we have very close lightning. Look at the ponding out here in, whew, they said it's mad close, and there's a lot of metal around me, so in case I die, this is my last video for Mike over here at Growtopia. We are, wow, that is a big dig into the bed. Just want to kind of pat that down. Hey everybody, it's Mike over here at Growtopia. Wow, look at that lettuce. I want to show you guys some cool stuff here. So a lot of this lettuce is actually harvestable at this point. Now remember, like I had to spray these guys. This guy was fine. This one got some burning on the leaves, but that's fine. I'm going to come in here. Get out of here, bug. I'm going to come here. I'm going to clean it all up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back outside with an aluminum tray and my trimmers. I'm going to trim some of this stuff off, bring it in the house, give it a nice little rinse with nice clean filtered water, and have myself some different flavored lettuces. But like this one here, I'm going to be cutting this like way back because it's only August. Let's see, it is August 8th of Zone 7A. I got Blue Jay that's got food, and there's a kitty dead that's like stuck making noise. So I'm gonna cut this way back because if you look on top of it, if you look on top of this thing, it's starting to go to seed, and we don't want that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this all the way back here so that it keeps growing. You want to check for when they're going to seed. Like this one's doing it too. This one's starting to go to seed. So before your plant goes to seed and then it's not edible, you want to I'm literally just going to cut this back. Literally. So like where all the dead is, I'm going to clean the dead off, and I'm going to cut it back to about here. This one, I'm going to cut it back to probably like about here and take the rest of it. And then, like I said, check everybody else. So we have our carrot bed, and we could see that this is a weed, but this is a carrot. You know, should be almost looking like, they kind of look a little bit like carroty. And watch out, some of this stuff might be carrot heads and not, but this is definitely the carrot. So what happens is it comes up like this, comes up with it this way, and then it's got the little leaf on top. So you can see like how these are perfectly in a row, and like this is a weed because the arms are really long on it, but these ones are carrots because they got it's spreading apart like this right here. That's a carrot. It looks like that. It looks like this when it's coming out of the ground. See, just like that. You got that right there, and then you'll have the three leaves together. Cool, isn't it? All right. So now we're over at our beach bed, which is where we put our radishes, or other bottom dwellers, and you can see our radishes are doing good. There's more to come for sure. I'm gonna get some of these weeds all out. You know, because these things aren't ready yet. When they're ready, so like we could dig down a little bit to see, get through the mulch layer. You can see like it's definitely not ready yet. Because like a carrot, the tops of them come up to the surface. Like our potatoes, you don't really know what's going on with your potatoes until you dig down. But being that they are literally haven't flowered or anything yet, that means that they're still obviously, you know, growing for sure. And how do you know when to pick your potatoes? Well, they don't grow overnight. So you put them in the ground, let's say in June, maybe October, November. Usually for me it was when the green turned yellow. So it'd be green, and then there'd be a little flower or no flower, depending on what I put in there. And then eventually the plant would die, and then I go digging for potatoes. How I did it.
These are my Marcone peppers. You can see we had a hellish of a storm last night, but there is one finally forming, which I'm happy to see. Because we got plenty of flowers. You know, we got plenty of possibilities. These are taking a while. Peppers do that. They take a while. I don't know why. They take a while, but my tomatoes are looking good. They're getting bigger. About to have to put in almost another tray, another section here. But so far they're looking good, so I haven't had the need to put them up. Put up another tray. Oh, I love touching tomato plants. It smells so good. But I got some nice, beautiful flowers. Bees are coming by. I can't wait till I get my beehive built and I get my bees. Because I really want to get some bees. The bee's knees. Because it's definitely going to help things. Like that whole area that's all overgrown. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mow it all down. I'm going to put the same grass on the ground that we have here. I'm going to put it over there. And I'm going to put a bunch of planters and stuff over there with tons of flowers. Now, I know everybody's like, well, the bees go 3 to 5 miles to go for food. Correct. But here's the thing. The hive is going to be over where the wheelbarrow is. The bees are going to have this whole garden, plus a garden of beautiful flowers, and probably some more stuff, because I want to kind of, you know, I want to make this area look a lot nicer instead of like just an overgrown mess, for a better lack of words. So I want to really like surround my garden space with flowers. You know, I actually really want to make this nice, because I back up my army truck to my, you know, quote unquote loading dock over there. So from the tree this way and then that way, this is going to get all mowed down. It's going to be completely gone. I haven't been able to mow out here because it's either 100 plus degrees outside, which I'm not killing myself because I work in it all freaking week long. So I'm home on the weekend. I don't need to kill myself after working in it for 5 days. Literally. I'm outside for like 9-10 hours a day. So, no, I'm not killing myself. And then, like, last night it rained. So I'm not taking my electric weed whacker and lawnmower into this because it'll screw it up. So everything is literally overgrown. But it's going to get better. It's going to look better. So, one step at a time here. It's hard for one person. But we come over here to the jalapeno bed. And my big jalapeno is actually just about ready to harvest. I think it is ready to harvest, to be honest with you. I'm a little afraid to take a bite of it. So, but I'm looking at this plant here, and like I had said before, a lot of people like, oh, well, you should have cut it off when it was small. You know, you should cut it off when it was like that size. That's a really tiny one. Or when it was like those two, or when it's that size. I'm the only person who eats these, so I'm going to cut it off when I want to. I'm not cutting it off to sell it. So don't always let people kind of bully you into cutting stuff off because they want you to cut it off. Like the blueberries. I got to go in there and I want to get those blueberries that are in there. Because I want the blueberries. I want some blueberries. You know, here I got to go through, you know, we got all these grasses. It's probably not helping because I'm throwing them out there to grow out there. So I got to go through here. I got to de-weed the whole bed. You know, something you definitely want to keep up on. You know, with any type of gardening situation. That's why I tell people, like, you want to get into growing stuff and getting your own food. I got to feed the birds, of course. You want to get into growing your own food, you got to stay on top of the de-weeding and also the harvesting too. Like if you don't want any of the lettuces, just for argument's sake, and you wanted to grow it just because it looks really cool, you could do that. And then it's going to go to seed. And then the leaves are going to taste like shit because they start getting bitter. They're probably going to be really strong as it is because these two are going to seed. So the flavor does change, unfortunately. So it might end up being a little stronger than I want it to be. But that's because I waited too long. That's my own fault. But if you just want to grow it for aesthetics, go right ahead. You know, I bought these off Amazon as little seeds, little sprouts, and they're phenomenal. I'll buy them again. You know, and I can even buy them now, right now. I could order some more, and I could literally put them in here and keep growing more lettuce, which I might even do. You know, I might go back on Amazon and order myself some more. They'll come in. Now that I have the bed already, I just make a spot and I stick them in there, and that's it. Or not. Not that I'm going to, but I'm saying if I was going to. Honestly, I have no reason to. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to harvest. And if I need, you know, to buy more, I could buy more. In 3 days, I'll have sprouts, and I stick them in the ground, and then like a couple weeks later, you know, I get some growth, and then a month later, full month, I have this. So, it's cool. Ooh, I think there's some cranberries I can harvest too. And then my cat mint is doing pretty good. It's funny how now it's not really in 100% direct sunlight like it used to be, and it's more like kind of corralled in. And remember how dilapidated it looked? Well, now look at it. So like I said, like it literally just comes back, and the bees love this. This is one of the plants the bees do love. And I am going to be putting certain plants out here that the bees love. So I literally have I'm literally going to put the beehive, I'm thinking like kind of where the bucket is, because this is where I offload different stuff, and I do a lot of stuff with the army truck, coming here like bringing in items and working on stuff. This is like my unofficial loading dock. And it has been for years. I've always just, I'll snake the truck into here, and this is where I offload the shit. So that's why I want to go from the tree down with a bunch of cool flowers and beautiful flowers that the bees like and that you can get honey from. So I'm thinking about putting it right where the bucket is, because it has a nice canopy of trees for the summer, and then in the winter all the leaves fall. Oh my god, all the leaves fall. I forgot about that. Oh, it's easy to clean off the ground. The leaves fall, and then there will be sunlight, and then the hive is going to get some color to it. But I am slowly building that on days that I'm not out here busting my ass. And we still have to build the 2 trellis beds, and then the herb bed. But I'm not going to say plant. I'm not building them until about October. Basically because it is so hot from time to time. Like, it is a super humid day. I had to fix the spigot because I have it on my pocket. Because on top of the spigot is a little cap. There's a little silver cap on top of it, as you can see. So this is what it was. So inside there is, you take the cap off, which is this. You'll see this on top of your spigot. And then there's this that's inside of it. So inside of here is a little plastic like plunger. So that was broken off, and water was literally like shooting out of here and flooded this whole area. I discovered that on like a Thursday night, something like that. It was great. It's a great thing to come out to, because this stays on all the time under pressure. So that was a nice thing to find. This whole place was a giant pond. Yeah. I wish it didn't rain last night, but I'm gonna harvest that, and then I got more of the squirrel bee gone, or squirrel away, because I are noticing them like digging in the beds a little bit here and there. So I'm gonna try to keep them away from things they don't need to be in. Because I'm like, why don't they go near the peppers? And I'm like, oh yeah, they don't like things that are spicy. It's like the one bed they stay far away from. Anyway, it's just a little update on what's growing on in the garden. Hope you guys stay tuned. There's more to come. Found anything interesting out of this, you know, comment below, like, subscribe, share it with your friends and family. I know it's not the most entertaining video, but just showing you some stuff of what's growing on out here, and And like I said, I gotta get out here and clean up everything. But I can't do it when it's wet, so I guess I gotta wait till tomorrow. And that thing is like a tree I gotta like cut and rip out of the concrete somehow. It's insane. Utterly insane. Alright guys, it's Mike over here at Growtopia. I almost pulled my back doing that. I'm getting old, man. I leaned over on the table and almost pulled my back. You can't make that up. So, we got some blueberries from outside. Show you guys right here that we picked up when we were out there. Do a taste test. These are just blueberries. They're nothing special. The other ones haven't started yet. And then, like I said, I saw a cranberry. I need the glasses off so you can see my face. Woo! I don't know if it's really ripe at all, but I can tell you, it's one sour fucker. But the ultimate in question, I did cut it off the plant. My first jalapeno of the season. I'm scared, man. Really scared. So let's cut this thing open. So we're gonna start at the back of it. I'm gonna look at this thing. You can see how nice and green and healthy it is. You can see the inside of it. It looks very nice. I'd say it almost looks better than what I would get in the supermarket. Now, word to the wise, if you're buying anything from the supermarket, look at that. How nice that is. Now the capsaicin, which is an oil that makes the peppers hot, is in the seeds. Which is why I didn't do what I did one time. If anybody's been with my channel for a long time, is I had a jalapenos like last year or year before, or a couple years ago, and it was like my first jalapeno that I grew from a seed. Plant grew, and there was jalapeno on it, and I cut it off the branch and literally with it fully closed, not cut open, took a large bite out of the tip. And if you look at it, at the tip of it, there's not a lot of seeds on this one here. The seeds are more a little further back. So I don't know if there was a lot of seeds in the tip of that one. I don't vaguely remember, but what I do remember is coughing continuously outside. So what I'm going to do is try to go for a piece of the jalapeno. It's still going to be hot, but it's not going to have any seeds on it. And let's take a bite. Now, it smells like a jalapeno. Woo-hoo! Wow! Oh, the burning inside. Oh. Woo! Wow. Even the tip is hot. Imagine if I took a big bite out of that thing. Wow. That is right to the smackers. So, most people would ask me, you know, what are you going to do with the rest of it? I'm not really a fan of hot stuff anymore, which is kind of funny. But I like growing it just because it's cool. And I guess I got some more jalapenos out there, so I'll ask anybody around if they want any jalapenos. Meanwhile, the rest of these I'm going to throw out into the yard. And if I grow jalapenos somewhere out in my front yard, that's great, because nothing else is going to go for these. Birds aren't going to get them. And if a squirrel comes along and takes a bite out of this, it's going to be the last thing they do. And we'll do that again. I'm going to go let my mouth cool down, and I'll show you what else we pulled out of the garden. Alright, back to what Mike's eating today. So, after my mouth cooled off, I took the rest of the jalapeno and I threw it out in the yard. And then I noticed I had some beach plums. So I went out there with a container, and then I ended up grabbing an early, I think it's a Granny Smith apple tree I have, I'm not sure. But this is what real apples look like without pesticides, people. There's holes, they're weirdly shaped. They look like they're beaten. In fact, they might have been a stepchild. I don't know. Hard time. And then these are the pears that I have out back by the garden in the back. But I went out to go get some beach plums, and I ended up getting distracted by a catbird, and I went out harvesting some blackberries with a catbird. Well, more like I harvested, and all I got was yelled at. So this is what a beach plum is. And inside of there is a pit. And if you've never had a beach plum before, they're sweeter than a plum. And they grow on like a tree, a small tree that kind of forms like a bush. And inside is a pit. And what you can do with that pit is you could throw it back outside. And either the birds or the squirrels will get it, and somebody will plant it somewhere, either on the property or on somebody else's property. And if they don't cut it down, they're going to have a plant that makes beach plums. And then what they're going to do is they're going to take a photo of it, and they're going to post it on Facebook, and people are going to tell people it's 9 million things other than what it really is. And they're either going to cut it down, or they're just going to believe somebody's garbage and they just think that it's a choke cherry tree. But anyway, so that's what beach plums are. They look like this as well. They literally look like a cherry. They're a decent size. I'm in Zone 7A. They grow here naturally on an island that's known as Fire Island, is where they grow naturally. They don't really grow on Long Island, theoretically. You could buy them from nurseries, or you can acquire them some other way. So, that's all I'm going to say. So I have a black raspberry bush that I had planted a long time ago. And it has, every year, it comes back pretty decently. But this past year, I don't know what's going on. I think it's just from all the rain. It's like, they're a little tart, but they're full of freaking flavor. Yeah, take a look at this. This tiny little balls, perfectly round, perfectly shaped, all in a cluster. And the bush gets bigger and bigger every year, just like I do. And a tart. Whew. The riper they are, as I'm blinking at you, the riper they are, the sweeter they are. Which kind of goes for everything. You know, you can usually tell if they're super ripe, because, almost fell over, because they're squishy, and they're like super soft. When they're firm like this one, that's when you're going to find out that they're pretty tart. I'm starting to look like a blackberry. Alright. That was a little sweeter, not as tart. So this is one of my, I think they're pears. Yeah, they're pears that are from outside. So I picked these about, this one, and I have another one, and I had another one before. I think I picked these about, I don't think it was last weekend, I think it was the weekend prior. And they're not 100% ripe. It's like the worst knife to use. I like it because it's like bending without even using it. Anyway, so nice, moist. You can tell it's humid. I literally sweat running down my face. It's not from the jalapeno, I swear. So you can see how nice Trying to get the camera to show you how moist and wet it is. I'm trying to get the crunch sound. I guess I use my little microphone. Well, I shouldn't have stuck that big of a piece in my mouth. So, as I chew like a giraffe. Ooh, a little tart, but a little like a little dry to the taste. Not fully ripe yet. Bro, so I don't know why I stuck it in my mouth because it was fucking there. Alright. So I could like wrap this in aluminum foil so it doesn't like completely get screwed up. I'm going to try sticking it in the refrigerator and see what happens after a couple days. Okay. Now back to fat and sweating on camera. So, here is our Granny Smith apple that has 9 million things in it. In case anybody's wondering, have I ever bit into an apple and a worm came out? No. But I have bit into an apple and an ant came out. So I would have preferred the worm over the ant. Oh, I'm going to kill myself on camera with this fucking thing. There's something wrong with this knife, man. Now that's enough. Let's go for something serrated, long, and made from fiberware. No better. How to cut yourself 101. Probably cutting it down the center didn't help. Jesus Christ. Okay. Make sure nothing's warming around in here. So this is what the inside of my apple looks like. You can see that it's not 100% fully developed, but it's still good. Because I had one the other day, and I just want to kind of cut around the holes. I don't really feel like having a spider crawl out of my mouth, or you know, big black ass ant. But here is a early piece of my apple. For some reason, I like putting big pieces in my mouth. Well, second roll. I could just clean the floor. With high grade poisonous chemicals. Superb flavor. A little taste of worm. Alright, so that's that. That's an ant rolling around over here. Squish. What are you squishing the ant for, man? That's protein. Good for you. So, here's something that's cool. So remember earlier while we were out there, and I was showing you the lettuces and stuff that were grown. Well, here they are right now. So I cut them out of the off the plants themselves, and I brought them inside. I cut them again, and then what I did was I then washed them in a big pot, and then I have them in here in a strainer, and I'm trying to get as much water out of them as possible. But remember how we sprayed them before with the soap, the water, and the if I only had a brain. What the hell was that shit called? I'll be back. I gotta walk to the other side of the plant before that fell full. Come on, up. It's not even in here. That's right. neem oil. That's the word, neem oil, for dealing with the bugs. I'm going to leave it at that. So anyways, let's move on, because this word game is really getting old. So here is some of the different lettuces we have. This is the multicolored leaf lettuce. No. I'd say this is pretty tasty. Now, people are going to be like, well, what's it taste like? Well, lettuce is like very earthy tone to it to begin with. It's a green, like grass. So it's always going to have like a very leafy, green, earthy tone to it. But what's nice is that it's fresh. Crunchy fresh. I think that was a romaine. Not sure. Then we have more of a, I think this was the black-seeded Simpson, or maybe it's a butter crunch. I think it's butter crunch. So, what a butter crunch is it's got a wavy leafy on it, and it doesn't taste like butter, in case you're wondering, because there'd be a lot of skinny people eating butter crunch. What? Be a lot of fat people becoming skinny. That's what I mean. So, I mean, I don't have to eat a stick of butter. I could just eat a green. Yep. Poop like a rabbit. So it's got a nice sweeter flavor to it. It's not like very earthy like you're going to get from like romaine, more or less, or like red lettuce. I think something's crawling on me. It's the sweat running down my arm. Let's see what else we got in here. So one of the things I wanted to tell people about is what's nice about having your own stuff, and what's good is that this does not need anything. You don't need to put croutons into this. You don't need to do any salad dressings. You could literally eat this fresh. All I did was like I said, I had cut it. Excuse me. I had cut the plant. Oh, that ain't getting any better. I cut the plant. I brought it inside. I cut everything off individually, as you see here, looking just like this. I put it in a pot, big pot that it fitted, and I ran my faucet on shower. You don't have to have it on shower, but my faucet does shower. It's very, very low, the lowest setting, on cold, very cold. You don't want it hot, because if you do it hot, what happens is it screws up your lettuce and it becomes wiltery, and you don't want wilty lettuce. You want things that are, young. That's a weird way of wording that sentence. You want things that are nice and hard and stiff, that are not floppy and saggy. So when you heat it up, that's what happens to it. When you wash it with nice cold water like this, it stays nice and loose and firm and crunchy. So the funny thing was, as there's that virus going around, see, some of the lettuce is going to be a little more bitter, like these are, because this was off of that big one that started flowering. And what happens is when lettuce and romaine start to flower, they're actually going to get bitter. So basically what happens is you want to harvest them before that happens. So you're going to get more of a bitter taste. So you're like, well, the butter crunch, I don't want to eat it all. But like the butter crunch right here, this was still young. This didn't at all start going to flower. So it's crunchier, and it's also a lot sweeter than the other lettuces, as long as you don't eat your mustache in the process. And then it tastes like mustache oil. So the whole virus thing that's going around, the explosive diarrhea, there's a couple things I find funny about that. For starters, they're telling you to wash your lettuce and your produce in hot water and boil it. Well, when you do that, it literally becomes super limp. So, like, take this for an example. This one I'm not going to eat, but you could just about see through it. Well, what that is from a bug that was eating that piece of lettuce, and it was taking out the green of the leaf. So what happens is, it takes it out, the leaf ends up basically dying because the plant can't do photosynthesis. If you don't know what that is, there's a thing called Google. Look it up. If you're over the age of 12 and you don't know what that is, and school failed you. So it won't go through photosynthesis at all, because now it becomes almost clear and translucent. It will still struggle and try to do its thing, but it's a little harder. So when you boil it, you're basically almost doing the same thing to it. You're taking everything that's about it good out. It's better to grow your own stuff like this. It's quick, it's easy to grow lettuce and romaine. It's probably, if I had to go down the scale of what's easy to grow at your house, in your garden, in a container, in a bucket, it's literally lettuce and romaine. Is the easiest thing to grow, because you harvest the whole plant. So you buy a seedling pack online, or you start from seed, it's up to you. Or you can even get it from the grocery store. You get a romaine that's got a white bottom on it, and you cut about just that much, leaving a little bit, this much leafy on top. You don't score the bottom, nothing at all. And you could just put it in a little glass, put some water in there, just below it, and what it's going to do, it's still alive, and it's going to try to get to that water that's in there. Even though it's cut from the plant, it's still alive. You don't realize it. It's like hanging on. I know this is like disturbing, but it's hanging on. And it will literally put roots down into the water, and then you could take it and plant it in soil, and it'll grow. And I've done that for years with romaine. I would buy it from the supermarket, and then I'd cut the bottoms off, put them in water, start seeing little roots come out, and put them out in the greenhouse, and then I could harvest romaine all year. And you just cut it, you bring it inside, you eat it, it'll grow up again and keep going. Lettuce is the easiest thing. If you like lettuce and romaine, especially romaine, it's the easiest thing to grow. After that, next thing would be is tomatoes, especially if you're growing indeterminate or determinate tomatoes. Indeterminate grows a lot easier and a lot quicker than determinates. I've noticed determinates kind of take a while. I grow my tomatoes from seed. I don't buy them from the supermarket. I don't buy them from Home Depot. We used to do that years ago, buying tomatoes from Home Depot. This is going back, God almighty, at least over 10 years ago. And we used to get, a big problem was these big giant green worms in the tomato plant, and they're hornworms. And we heard from other people and stuff that the eggs are in the soil of those tomatoes from wherever Home Depot was getting their plants from. So they're tainted with the worm eggs. So, and ever since I've been growing my own tomatoes at home, I have never, knock on wood, I think that's wood, I've never got any hornworms here at all. No hornworms or nothing. Only thing I'll get is the here's one with the seed. Still gonna found one before. Aphids. I can never remember this stupid name. Aphids, ants are my two. Aphids are a pain in the ass because they suck the life out of a plant. Ants are a bigger pain in the ass because they will actually eat the leaf. So like ants and caterpillars are very destructive to your plants. Yeah, ants, caterpillars are two of my biggest problems. But I don't have caterpillars anymore because my bird population of robins, blue jays, starlings, catbirds, what else we got out there? Woodpeckers, a bunch of other birds. We got chickadees, A couple other birds I've seen recently, I forgot their name offhand. We don't have any barn swallows. Those would be great. Barn swallows are great because they eat mosquitoes. But we don't have any mosquitoes out there either. If you have a mosquito, it's like once in a blue moon. It's amazing with all the water I have. I have a pond, 2 bird baths in the front yard, no mosquitoes. Especially right next to the pond. Like, I see things in there, but then I see, like, the starlings and the grackles are like eating, pecking at the pond water, and they'll hang out. There'll be like 500 of these birds just hanging around the pond, looking in, going, you're mine. So, what else? Oh, and what I was saying was kind of what's comical with the explosive diarrhea stuff. If anybody realizes this and you're watching the video still, here's some food for thought. It's not just grow your own stuff, but the place that the produce that's bad is coming from is Mexico. Now, I'm not bad-mouthing Mexico. I don't want anybody to think that. But don't you think it's kind of ironic that we're buying produce from a country that we're deporting their people back to, that are pissed off because they had a house, they had a job, they had a car, they had a life, they had a prostitute that they can call on Friday and blow their whole check on. And now they're back in their country where they came from originally, working in fields that grow this stuff, selling it to middle class and upper class Americans that will go to the store and spend $50 to buy this when they can grow it at home for pennies. Kind of interesting, right? Now, if we get produce from our local farms like we have on the island, which we have tons of, you don't have this problem because there's nobody tainting the food. So we're buying it from a country that we're sending people back to that are pissed off at us, and we're buying food from them. And people in America are shitting themselves. Just saying. It's kind of like when somebody at work, I did this years ago, somebody at work, they kept stealing my food, so I had bought some laxative. They were stealing my drink. I had a drink in the fridge, and I had food in the fridge at this place I worked, and they kept stealing it. So I went to the supermarket, and I bought some liquid laxative, and I put it in the drink and the food. It sucked because it was a waste. But that motherfucker learned their lesson, because it was the last time that guy stole food from me, because he spent the whole day shitting his pants. I got in trouble, but I proved the point. Same topic. It's our same situation. You know. Nevertheless, guys, this is Mike over here at Growtopia. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends and family. Grow some produce, grow some berries, have some fun, enjoy your garden, plant a jalapeno, take a bite of it, plant an apple tree, eat some apples, and try not to eat the worm. Anyway, guys, this is Mike. Later.